Hey everyone, welcome back to Land Investing Online. Come unlock your potential freedom through land investing. Here at Land Investing Online, we teach students how to profitably buy and sell vacant land. This is the simplest, least competitive, and most profitable sector of real estate. To learn more, visit landinvestingonline.com. We have a free Discord with tons of successful investors, including Ron and myself. Come learn from the best. Please subscribe to this podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, whatever you guys are listening on. It really drives this business forward and means a lot to Ron and I. As always, guys, I'm Daniel Apke, joined again by my brother and business partner, Ron Apke. Welcome back, Ron.
Hey, Dan, good to be here.
Today, we're going to discuss roadblocks to becoming a successful land investor. This is going to be really catered towards the land business, so I'm excited to hop into this one. But before we get into that, let's go over a question from today's featured member. My first mailer of about 1,500 mailers just hit 2 days ago. I've only received 4 calls so far, with all of them being upset with me. So 4 hate calls. Is there something to be worried about?
So 1,500 mailers hit 2 days ago. I assume that's when they got their first call, so that's what they're assuming, unless they have some mail tracking or something. But hit 2 days ago, like 4 calls. I mean, it's not a ton of calls, but it's also like your mail might not have fully hit. Also, some people don't go to their mailbox every day. A lot of these rural places, like their mailbox might be at the street a quarter mile away. Like that's a very real thing in rural America. But no, I wouldn't be worried at all. I don't think that's something to be overly concerned about at this point. Like you just need one call to make a deal happen. Some counties you're going to get less calls. Some counties you're going to get more calls, and a lot more people are going to be upset. Like, do you want 15 more people to be upset with you? Is that going to make you feel like the mailer's successful? It really, the only way you're going to evaluate the mail is by getting a deal or two. So give it some time, give it a week or two, evaluate it. Adjust your pricing, or not adjust your pricing, evaluate your pricing and go from there in the future. If all these people try to negotiate with these people if they're upset too, like it doesn't hurt. It's good experience if this is your first mailer. But to answer your question, I would not worry about this at this point.
No, yeah. Someone asked me this today, actually, or one of our coaching members. Really similar question to this, but I told him wait till it's so hard to analyze mailers. I told him wait till eight to 12,000 mailers build up to really look back and analyze, because I told him we average one deal per 2,000 mailers or so. On average. So once you stack up, 12,000, you should have quite a few deals in your pipeline. And that's a good time to actually look back and start analyzing. If you've only sent out 1,500, this is your first mailer, you're going to waste time analyzing. It's good to consistently focus on pricing and all of that, but looking back and analyzing is just too small of a sample size, in my opinion. But
I
let's get
agree.
into the show. Roadblocks to becoming a successful land investor. And in my opinion, roadblocks are something that just really sets you back, delays your progress, or just a big hurdle that you have to overcome. And in any business, including land investing, there's going to be a lot of roadblocks. Any business in general, there's going to be roadblocks. So we'll just start with that, Ron. A roadblock is something that just sets us back a little bit and delays our progress. Do you have anything to add?
No, I agree completely. That's something that just slows you down essentially or can stop you completely.
Well, let's hop right into it then. So we're going to talk about roadblocks in this specific business. What would you say the number one, without a doubt, maybe you have your answer in mind? What's the number one roadblock land investors face? And let's assume for this also. Actually, I want to see what you say without saying my next part. So go ahead.
Yeah. um, I think it's not just it's any business, to be honest with you, is fear. Like I think just like fear and like just being at a standstill, honestly. I think that's such a big one, whether it's fear of losing some money, fear of just starting a business, fear of whatever. I think it's a huge one for entrepreneurs in general, or aspiring entrepreneurs, people who want to work for themselves. Uh, I just think that's my biggest one, Dan. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, fear. There's a lot of things we can branch off of fear, and I have some specifics that I'm going to talk about here. But fear in general, just like business, non-business, in life, it just really holds people back. And I feel like the main point, or the way to get over this is to really just understand the fear, know what's going on, because the fear is there for a reason. I just read Ed Milet's book, and he talks about fear's there for a reason. It's supposed to balance you out. You have one side that wants to do it, you have one side that's scared and doesn't want to do it, and you have to meet somewhere in the middle. So that fear usually isn't coming from nowhere. You just kind of have to understand it. Obviously, in land investing, that fear is coming because it's an investment. So if you have to, spend $3,000 to $5,000 plus a course and all that, that fear is telling you maybe don't invest. I'm scared that I need this money. What happens if I lose this money? That stuff. That's a good fear to have. It might be irrational, or senseless in a way if this is a proven business model, but that fear is there to I think help you make decisions. So you just have to understand it, I think. But I have number one going off that fear run. I have the number one that I have down is it's based off of fear, but you have to invest in education. That's a big roadblock. You look at this business model or any business model in general, you have to invest in education and resources, a course, right? Something like a course. It doesn't necessarily need to. Maybe it's a mentor, depending on what you're in, but you have to invest in a course. I've invested $20,000 to $30,000 in my career in courses alone, most likely. That's a guess, but I have invested a ton of money, anywhere from marketing to email marketing courses to drop shipping courses to Kindle publishing courses. I've invested so much in courses, and I think you look at this business, you're trying to get involved in it. That's the first roadblock you're going to have to overcome. You're going to have to invest that money, and that's a big roadblock to get over.
Yeah, I think online courses are beginning to become a little more accepted and like not as scammy and stuff like that. By all means, and there are ones that are just out to get your money. Do your research, research competitors, research what people are saying, research the community, and that's why we have such an open Discord community for us in particular. Because potential members, whatever, can ask anyone. They can see all of our members very easily in Discord. But yeah, like you said, Dan, it's huge. And it's crazy how people are so okay going in 50, 60, 70, $100,000 of debt for education in college and all this, but they won't spend $1,000 on something that could potentially be a career for the rest of their life. And I think it is getting more accepted and stuff, and people are starting to realize the value. But it definitely is the first roadblock. Like we don't even see a lot of those people. Maybe they're on our Discord channel and they say I'm interested in this, and then they disappear, and then they pop in sometimes, but they never pull the trigger, whether it's our course or someone else's, to actually make that next step and actually learn the business model.
Yeah, and personally, like from my experience, I did go to college and spend all this money on education. Did it help me? Probably not, to be honest. What I would have loved was to find out about a business model like this that I could have done in college. I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I was always looking for ways to kind of make money and invest in all that kind of stuff. And if I would have had something like we're providing, like land investing online, like this freedom we're selling, if I would have had this in front of me, I just feel like it would have been game changer, and I would have hopped in it at such a younger age. Like that's one of my regrets is not getting into something like this earlier, but obviously things pan out how they do. But I was actually talking to one of my friends today. He's from Israel. I was at the gym with him, and we were talking about college. It's funny we kind of brought this up, but we were talking about college and kind of, I don't want to bash on college because I know it helps a lot of people, but at the same time, like most people out there don't use their college degree, period. I'm just going to say that. There are people aligned with it in the medical field, engineering field, things like that you have to, architects. Most people, though, that go to college kind of throw that money down. And you're talking $100,000. Guys, this is a course. There are courses for few $1,000s and you can get in the game. Like, if you know you want to be an entrepreneur, I think there's better methods than just going to college, to be honest. But I can't really talk because I did go to college and spend all that money, Ron, and so did you.
Crazy thing is, Dan, just thinking about it here is like, I have no idea. Like, we have employees making well into six figures, and I have no idea, like, if they went to college, where they, I don't care. Like, like to be honest, and I think it's getting more accepted in the workforce as well, especially like salespeople. Like, there is no value in college for a salesperson. A salesperson is a salesperson is a salesperson, and with or without a college degree, they're going to do fine in that. And there's so many other uh, degrees and stuff, but like you said, there are degrees that you need. Like to be a lawyer, you obviously need to go to college, doctor, all that. But the experience of if you would have done this for 4 years while you're in college and the money you could have made, Dan,
Oh, it would have been
it's
crazy.
crazy to think about.
Yeah, would have been in a much different spot coming out of college, but no, everything happens for a reason. I had my corporate job, which kind of led me to this path, to be honest. So everything kind of panned out how it did. Um, but no, it's a good point. Like I'd rather look at someone who's applying for a job who has, maybe raised. I'm just going to throw out a random example. Like I would love someone to see they were raised in a family, maybe middle class. They had to pay their way through whatever, pay for their own bills and things at an early age. Had to overcome a lot of obstacles, things like that. I love to see like someone who overcame obstacles, and you look at their resume and you see they're just stepping up and stepping up and stepping up and stepping up into their positions. Maybe they started as a driver. We had someone that started as a driver, then they worked to operations, something like day shift manager, then they worked to operations manager. And seeing people just step up like that who have overcome obstacles and they came up in different situations really really stands out to me more than a college degree, period. But let's go to another roadblock. Let's stay on task here, Ron. So you're looking at it more like a mindset. You said fear, and my all mine are really based off of fear, to be honest. So I kind of broke it down more like I said,
Yeah,
investing in a course was the number one hurdle. The number two thing I
I
had,
like that.
Ron, was not sending enough mail. That's really number one once you're in this business model. So you invested in a course, you sent mail, and you're waiting for the results, or you're waiting to get a deal, or whatever that is. That's kind of my roadblock number two that I had, Ron.
Yeah, I think too many people, not too many people, but you see it a lot with people kind of like they pay for the course, awesome. They invest in their self, they invest in education, they learn about the business model, and then they kind of just dip their toe in with action. Uh,
Yeah.
and that's what I see where I see people fail in this business model is people like you said they send 1,200, 1,800, 2,000 mailers. I'm not going to tell you you're going to get a deal if you send that much mail once. I know if you do that for 6 months, you're going to be profitable more than likely. But if you do it once and just like you said, wait for a deal, and 3 months down the line, you don't have a deal, 4 months down the line, you still don't have a deal, it's just land investing just on the back burner for you. So yeah, not sending enough mail is a huge one. Don't just dip. This is not a business model just to dip your toe in. Like it's something you have to believe, and it's something you have to go full force. In my mind, it doesn't mean you can't work a W-2 job too, but you have to be more than just like I'm going to try this out for a couple weeks and see what happens.
Yeah, give it 6 months or so of consistency. I always say, like, you're not just, I mean, it does happen too. Like, some people send out a mailer, their first mailer, and they get, 50, 60, $70,000 profit off that. And it happens. But more than likely, you're going to send some mail out. You might get a deal here and there, maybe not a killer deal. Maybe you have to force a couple things, but you got to keep working, keep sending mail. Those good deals will come. They always do. And that's our best members keep sending mail. But along with staying consistent with mail, they're staying consistent in education and so many other parts of it. Because the more you send mail, the higher that fear goes, which means that fear, to balance it out, what do? You educate yourself more to try to limit that risk. So that's what we see. Usually, the more mail someone sends, the more they're involved in the community and education, and they're on the calls and just asking questions, really. And it's so easy to tell who's really invested versus not, in my opinion. But number three that I have. So after you overcome those two things, you bought a course, you're sending a lot of mail. What's next? You got to invest in your company. You got to hire. You got to reinvest your profits into the company, whether it's an employee or software. Really, I just have reinvesting in the company. I'm talking more employees, to be honest, because whether it's a virtual assistant or not, that's how you grow. You're not going to be able to grow past a certain point without outsourcing and hiring and cultivating a culture.
Yeah, I think we talk about this so much, and we believe in it so much as far as this being a real business and not just being a side hustle. It has the option to be that, but and it's changed my mindset over the last 24 months a ton how valuable like a good quality employee is for your business. It's way more valuable than whatever you're paying them, especially if it's like a salesperson. You pay them 10% profit and you get 90 or whatever. Obviously, you have a ton of expenses, but yeah, just hiring right people, investing in people, it's going to cost you money the first 3 to 5 months because you're teaching them all this. But after, if they're the right person, after that, they're going to make you like they're going to grow your business so much with you, and it's something you need to get past. I think to really grow this thing to be $2, $5, $10 million business.
And even if you don't want a 10, $20 million business, if you want to stay at 1 to 2 million, I still highly recommend hiring someone, whether it's like just a transaction coordinator. It's going to make your life so much easier. And guys, if you're making $1 million, pay someone $50,000 to help you out. Your quality of life, everything will just get so much better. So in my opinion, even if you're doing this as a side hustle and doing it, like we said, Ron, there's like 57 different steps to this business. With Lori, we said that there's so many different steps to this business. Hiring out and just it's just going to make the quality of your life a lot better, I think. But all right, so we have number one, investing in education and the course resources, things like that. Number two, we said not sending enough mail, not being consistent with mail, delaying mail until you get a deal, etc. Number three, scared to people are scared. So this all subs off of fear, really, Ron. So scared to hire and invest in the company. And then number four, I have ability to raise more capital and really just because I see it. I've been looking at this so much different lately, and you might disagree with this one as being an obstacle because there is a lot of money out there. But guys, you can only grow as fast as your access to funds and money. You can only grow as fast as your access to funds. So if you're raising money, inventory, say you're a new startup distribution company and you're raising building materials. I used to be in the building material industry, and you're buying a bunch of decking. You can only buy, say you can buy $1 million of decking. You can only sell whatever your margins are going to be from that $1.3 million or whatever in distribution. You can only grow as fast as that capital. And by putting your capital to use, that can only get you so far. You have outside investors, banks, whatever it is, you have to be able to raise more money because you're going to run out of capital. You can only grow as fast as the access to your capital.
Yep. I agree with that. And as interest rates go up, as all the economy changes, they're pulling money currently from the economy. They say they're pulling like $96 billion every single month from the economy with interest rates and all this stuff. So there is going to be less money available. So keeping those relationships, being being creative with the ways you're financing things is really going to be an important aspect of growing your business. So as the market changes, that is something to keep in the back of your mind. It's not going to be as easy. Not everyone, land is probably something that banks are going to be less likely to loan on. It's probably going to be harder to get funding. Like it's just not as safe. Like it's a recreational thing. It's going to be, they're going to have to really believe in you as a business model to do it. So keep that in mind as you're looking for funding these next probably 12 to 18 months, Dan.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm big on that, and a part of our mission is just to help you unlock your potential freedom, and whatever freedom looks like for that is financial freedom, financial independence, whatever that freedom is, location independence, working for yourself on your own time. We have so many people working with their fathers, sisters, sons, husbands, all that stuff's awesome to me. um, and that's what we want you to get. So part of our jobs to help you and to help you be able to access these funds. So we're going to keep educating you on ways to raise capital and things. Ron and I do a lot of alternative things to just the standard deal funding. But that's more of an advanced thing. There's a long way. If you're newer, you have a long way before you get to actually having to worry about that, in my opinion. Last thing I wanted to mention is you guys can get really caught up once you get things rolling. I see so many people getting so caught up in just doing the same exact thing over and over again. And that's great. It's working. That should be 80-90% of your business. But don't be scared. This goes back to fear again, Ron. Don't be scared to try new things. Try different types of lots in different areas of the country, or try a new niche that we're talking about. Whatever that is, watch our niche video, whatever you say. Do you say niche or niche, Ron?
Niche. I think I say niche.
You
I'm
say
not sure.
niche.
Both of them sound normal. I think you might be able to say it both ways.
You can say it both ways. I don't know which one I usually say it. That's why I said it both. But watch
Niche.
that video to get some ideas. Just try new things out. Try new markets, new types of properties, new funding partners. Just try different things. Like that's how you grow. You don't grow by doing the same thing. Period.
Mm.
You grow by trying new things and getting out of your comfort zone. But that's all I have. Any last things to add, Ron?
Yeah, I wanted to add one thing, Dan, because we hear it so much. Is it's a roadblock in my mind. It kind of goes on the mentality thing, the fear thing. Everyone always like new people, whatever. A constant thing is like what happens about competition, what happens about the market if the market's going down. I was
Yeah.
talking to a very, very experienced land investor yesterday, and they said They just were looking back at their notes. They're really diligent with how they take notes over years, and they said they wrote down I think 3 years ago. They wrote down literally the same questions that are being asked today. They wrote down what happens as the market's dropping, as competition grows. And this is 3 years ago. People are just asking the same stuff. Like, it still works. All this stuff that we're doing and teaching still works. We adjust. But it was crazy that they said, like, literally, it's a constant question all the time as people are entering this game. The same time people are leaving. Those people who dip their toe in the water, they're probably not answering their phone calls 6 months later, or they're not being as diligent. But there are not that many people in this game that are really kind of doing it full force in my mind. But that's one that we constantly hear, Dan.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people doing this full force at all, period. There's just not. And Ron and I are obviously very involved in the community, and like we know the people who are doing this full force. We know the people who are doing it part time. It's interesting, and we know the people also. We see the people in our course, and just networking. We see the people coming in and leaving. So it balances out. Yes, the competition's growing, net growing, I would say, but there's just so much room in my opinion. That's a really good point, Ron. We get that question so much, and I didn't have that on here. But that's all, guys.
Yep.
Thanks for joining. To get started and to unlock your potential freedom, financial freedom, location freedom, and just the freedom to do what you want on your own time, visit landinvestingonline.com. Join our free Discord, guys. That's the best place to get started. Network. Say hi to Ron and I. We're very involved in that. We're in it every single day, every hour, messaging people back and forth. We'd love to see you there. If you guys got any value from this, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. It means a lot, guys. Other than that, we'll see you next episode, and thank you for joining.
Thanks, guys.